Hi there, Ray here, and today we will talk about some of the reasons why you shouldn't get a PlayStation 4. So if you were wondering if you should get a PS4 and you didn't know what to do, well then watch this video. It might just clear your head and then you should be able to make that decision. So get ready, because in this video we are going to talk about the PS4 in general, what it does better or worse compared to the PS3 or the PS5. Then we will talk about price. After we wrap that up, we'll start talking about its performance and how it actually performs in real life. And in the end, after I list my reasons, I will tell you why it is actually a bad deal. So without wasting more of your time, let's get into it. And what are some interesting facts about the PlayStation 4? Well, you know it is better than the PS3 and worse than the PS5. That is something we all know, so I will not bother you with that. But the PlayStation 4, even to this day, is still a pretty good console. It can play almost every game on the Sony library. It can run those games without any problems. And when it comes to online games, well, again, it does that really good. So it has really good performance all around, unlike the PS3. But it pales in comparison to the PlayStation 5. And I know it can do almost everything the PS5 can do, but the only reason for that is because the PS5 hasn't been out for that long. When developers start taking full advantage of the hardware and start making games that demand more power, well then we will start seeing the PS4's age. Just because right now we can't see it doesn't mean that it is not happening. And I will say this. If you are a casual gamer and just want to play with your friends online like once a week, then you will be happy with the PS4. But if you want something more, then you are out of luck, and when newer games come out and you want to play those, well, chances are you will not be able to play those games. But actually there are some more reasons why you shouldn't buy it when it comes to games. But we need to start talking about price. So if you buy a PS4 used and if you want it to be in good condition, you will spend around $200 to $250. So it is not cheap. If we look at the PS3, it costs less than $100, so it is more than double the price. But if we look at the PS5, well, it is around $450, so the PS5, it is more expensive, but you are getting the PS5 new, out of the box, so keep that in mind. When you are thinking of getting a PS4 or a PS5, you never know what damages it has when you buy it used, or you don't even know if it will break in a couple of days. So if you get a PS5, you will have that peace of mind. But now when you get a PS3, the PS3 comes with a lot of games pre-installed. Well, in most cases it does. But the PS4, in most cases, even if you buy it new, you don't have those games. And I'm talking about games that cost money to purchase, so you will need to spend some money if you want to play games. And if you are someone who spends time playing lots of games, well then you will need to spend the money. But the problem isn't here, because you will spend the same amount of money on that game even if you have a PS5. But the difference is then on the PS5 you will enjoy that game a lot more. And what do I mean by saying that? Well, you will have a lot more fun if you are playing on a PS5. The controller is more responsive, the games run on a higher resolution, the frame rate is higher, the images are smoother, everything will be better. And why does this matter that much? Well, let me tell you, you are spending money on a $60 game and you cannot even enjoy that game how you are supposed to. In my opinion, that is not fair. So if I had to make a choice, I would buy a couple less games and spend that money on the console and just buy a PS5. Maybe you will not play every game because you spend some money, but you will have more fun playing the games you buy. And even you want to play free multiplayer games. Well, if you have a PS5, then you have an advantage against PS4 players. You have a smoother image, and it will look sharper, and the frame rate is higher, and believe me, all of those things combined make a huge difference on a game. If you look at just the price, you will save some money, but if you want to enjoy the games, you better save money for a PS5. And if you want just to play some fun and interesting games, well, you might go and get a PS3. Those consoles most of the time have games pre-installed, so you will have sometimes even hundreds of dollars worth of games on them. But make sure it works and make sure the console does not have any problems. But yeah, like I said, if you want just to play some games, maybe save some money and buy a PS3. And if you want to play games at a better resolution and have more fun playing games, then you might as well as just spend some more money and just buy a PlayStation 5 at least that is my opinion. And now let's move to performance. And while I will go ahead and admit it, the PS4 has a lot of performance. I mean, it is nowhere near the PS5. But still, if you want to play even some modern games, even some demanding games, it still can manage to run those just fine. It can struggle a bit, but the end result is pretty good. It is 1080p at 60 frames per second. At least that is on paper. When it comes to newer titles, it is more like 30 frames per second at best, but it is still a really good experience. But where the PS4 struggles just to run games, the PS5 doesn't even break a sweat. It can do a lot more, and if a game can run at 30 frames per second on the PS4, on the PS5 it can probably go up to 120 frames per second, at the same image quality. So yeah, it is performance, but not as much as you might want, and when it comes to real life, well, the difference right now, it's not that much. I mean, all the games that run on the PS4 have been tested, so if you buy a game it will work properly, it will not have any problems, you will have fun, but the PS5 is still better. But like I said, if you buy a game it is not like the PS5 will be that much of a game changer. You will have fun no matter what console you choose, but the PS5 is still a bit faster, a bit smoother, and a bit more comfortable, so you choose what you want. And now let me tell you why I wouldn't buy a PS4. It is not future-proof. And I know nothing in technology is future-proof, but when it comes to the PS4, it is old, and yet it can still manage to run games just fine, but for how much longer? It doesn't even have an SSD. It is an old console, and sooner or later games will no longer be able to support that system. So in my opinion, even if you get a PS4 right now, in a couple of years, even if you just want to play some online games with your friends, it just won't be possible. And don't get me wrong, even the PS5 will start to show its age, but it is whatever the lifespan of the PS4, plus 5 years. So if you buy a PS5, you will have more fun playing on it. Your console will be relevant for longer. So even after a couple of years you will not need to upgrade your console, and if you will have to upgrade anyway after a couple of years, doesn't it just make the PS4 more expensive? Because you are buying the PS4 now plus you will buy a PS5 in the future. So it is the price of the PS4 plus the price of the PS5 in the future, or you can just buy the PS5 now. At least that's how I see things. But tell me down in the comments what you think. Is the PS4 still relevant? Will the PS4 still be a relevant console in the future? And if so, for how long? I would love to read your opinions on that. And like always, if you liked the video, like. If you didn't, you can dislike. But if you liked this video and want to see more videos like this or more tech-related videos, subscribe so you don't miss my next video. This was Ray, and I will catch you in the next one.